welcome to the best Japanese lesson in the galaxy live stream. I'm eating cereal. How y'all doing? This is where people can ask me questions about the Japanese culture or the Japanese language, and then I'll try my best to talk about them. So I just started the broadcast just now. So I'll be waiting for more people to join. I hope that the connection is not as bad as yesterday. Excuse me for looking very tired and messed up. Surely this this pandemic has been, damaging me very much. Oh, finally, this is actually live. I'll always get a notification, but then it says it was streamed live like a day ago. I don't even know which buttons that you should click on my page to receive notifications anymore. I hear that I hear from some people that if you subscribe, if you unsubscribe first and then subscribe again, you might get notifications again, but I don't know. I don't know how YouTube works. Cereal went in down my throat. So I've decided to just live stream as much as possible on this channel. Be sure to check out other videos that I posted up here, because a lot of people tend to not realize that I have a lot of videos uploaded these days. So since this is a live stream, I'm just gonna be chilling here, gonna be checking out the comments and see if there are things that we can talk about. Such a pity that 99% of the people won't get this notification of live stream, so not too many people will be able to join. That's the thing. Nothing like a good old cereal Friday afternoon. But it seems like some people are actually receiving the notification, and that's good. That is good. The thing is, I'll probably end the live stream after I finish eating and kind of decide to work on something else. So you guys might want to ask questions now while I'm here. Why am I not so energetic? Well, because of this COVID situation. It's killing me. It's been killing me. I died 3 times already, mentally and physically. It's pretty hot today. any lessons on Japanese texting, such as the W, which basically translates to LOL in English? Is it used by both genders? Yes. W is a very important thing to know. In English, if you're laughing, you could write ha 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 or LOL, that kind of stuff. In Japanese, it used to be, and still is, that you would type parentheses and then warai. That's the kanji character for laughing, laughter, laugh. But you only write the kanji, because if you would properly write warai, then the kanji would be followed by a hiragana, but you don't do that. Just parentheses, kanji for warai, for laughing, and then close the parentheses. That used to be like the original way to do it. You could do it without the parentheses. It'll look kind of this, like the reason why you put a parentheses is to separate what you're saying from the laughter, so it's easier if you add it. But these days, you would type W, and the number of W's would express how much you're actually laughing. So, what if you type a lot of W's? That'll mean you're laughing a lot. Why is it W? Because that's the first letter from warai, laughter, laughing. So it's just the Roman alphabet W rule. That's what you would do. Wait, so warai is pronounced differently than parentheses what due to no I? No, like you could read it as warai, but you could also say wara. Yeah, you can write that in katakana too, but it's not so like. There are many ways in which you can express laughter other than warai and everything. There are others, but I'm just teaching you the one that is being used the most, because there are so many things in Japanese, there's so many vocabs, so many slangs, but once you miss once these words become obsolete, you're gonna sound silly. It sounds like you're using slangs from way back when. So that's why right now I'm teaching you guys the ones that is somewhat standard. You feel me? What's this? Plastic. You could use ksa. Ksa means grass. That also is used to express laughter. But get this. That is more for like in the internet world. Not even messaging each other. It's more so, there are threads, right? Like posts that you make and then, people talk to each other. It's kind of like a 4chan thing, 2chan thing. It's more of that. So I wouldn't use it with friends. I wouldn't use it with anyone unless, I'm writing something on a thread. So ksa is not so much the standard, and a lot of like older people don't know. I mean, not just older people, but like a lot of people who are not so like into the internet world know about this, so that's why I don't recommend you using ksa, grass. And you might be wondering, why does grass mean laughter? Well, remember how I told you about the W, right? This is supposed to be a W, alright? The W looks like grass. That's why. So that's why you would write grass, and that means something's funny. But as I said, it's not so much of a standard thing to do, so just knowing what it means is cool. But you probably would sound like a noob if you're talking to a Japanese person, then you type so. Or either that or that other person wouldn't know what you're talking about. Like what? If that person is not knowledgeable, like about internet. You mean those special forms, or like is it like a general form thing like Reddit, for example? Like if it's kind of like, you know how you can ask questions on the internet, like on Google or Yahoo or whatever? You wouldn't write it there. You would write it more on, as I said, like 4chan, 2chan kind of thing. Oh, or you could write it in your Twitter. I mean, in your tweets. So I think the best way is to not use it altogether. I mean, unless you want to sound like, unless you want to put yourself in a situation that you have the risk of sounding like a noob or the other person not knowing what you're saying. Good question, though. Good question. Finished eating cereal. Just a memeable thing, I guess. Sort of. A lot of like older people tend to use the parentheses warai thing, the kanji character. It's funny because I think more than in English, like more than when you're typing in English, you can see that person's characteristics, like when you're typing things in Japanese. A lot of people use how do you say, separate each like segment of a sentence by using the Japanese version comma, and that kind of looks weird, but older people do that, I think. I mean, some. I just recently learned that Naruto's Dattebayo is in normal Japanese. It's something added to a normal sentence to show Naruto's personality. Kind of like Jotaru's yare yare daze, I think. Well, yare yare daze, there are actually people who say that. Dattebayo, not too many people say it. When you use it, it's only for a specific situation to make yourself sound kind of funky. But now that there's Naruto, you know, people would imagine Naruto. But like before the existence of Naruto, if you would have said Dattebayo, just sounds like you're on purpose saying that phrase to make yourself sound a little kind of like, I mean, I guess anime-ish anyway, even without Naruto. But yeah, I almost never say Dattebayo. But yeah, it's to add character to Naruto, to just make it his thing. I saw that Dattebayo comes from Teba. I don't get it. Teba? What is a Teba? I thought it came from the word datte. Yes, but at the same time, a little different. Oh, yo, I have a video explaining about it. Naruto Singer explains what Dattebayo means. If you guys check on this channel, I already made a video talking about that, so check that out. But I'll explain again. But be sure to watch that video too, because there might be things that I might have forgotten right now, you know. So to get the full experience, please watch that. But let me try to, yeah, let me try my best right now. I mean, plus it's that'll support my channel more, you know. If you go to that video and then, you know, watch the ads or whatever, like, it supports my livelihood, so that's better. But anyway, I'm going to explain here again. So Dattebayo is definitely untranslatable in English. You gotta first know that. And I'm pretty sure that there are going to be a lot of know-it-alls, you know, that will be telling me like, no, actually Dattebayo. Never mind them. You know, they're never going to accept even a native speaker's explanation. So it's really funny, you know. There are a lot of people who are originally not a native speaker, a fluent speaker, like in any language. I'm not talking about just Japanese, but like there are a certain number of people who just, like, you know, act like they know better than you, who's a native speaker. So I think that Dattebayo is going to be one of those things. So I'm cringing already to think like there's going to be someone telling me this and that. It's really funny. But Dattebayo, okay, let's break it down. So, to be quite honest, Dattebayo doesn't mean anything. Someone mentioned in the comments, like, does it come from the word datte? Kind of. But datte and Dattebayo, they don't mean the same thing. Let's take, for example, like in English, when you add bro, you know, the bro part doesn't really mean anything. I mean, there are situations in which you're really referring to your friends or your brother and whatnot, right? But there are also situations where you are saying bro just because it sounds good to have that in at the end of the sentence, you know, to make it a little more rhythmical. Do you know what I'm saying? Just kind of like, ah, it's so hot today, bro. Then you could, I mean, you could be talking to yourself or anyone, I mean, but you could say bro. I mean, I don't think that too many people would say bro when they're not talking to anyone, but like, I mean, you could, you know, you could just add that there. It's kind of like that. But does it mean bro? Not at all. Not at all. I'm just saying it's the same kind of sense as far as that bro not making a sense, like not meaning anything goes. So Dattebayo is kind of like that. It doesn't mean anything. So when Naruto is saying Dattebayo in each sentence, you could take that out. You could take that part out and still have 100% same idea of what he wants to say. Yeah, it could be like dude or whatever, you know, oh, that's crazy, dude. Or when you say like, you know what I'm saying, you know, that phrase, when you're saying you know what I'm saying, like, I mean, there are many instances where that you know what I mean doesn't mean anything, right? You just have it there. You just put it there in the sentence. Ah, man, this is so awesome, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So Dattebayo is that. But what does it literally mean? So that this is another thing. It's like it's emphasizing the emphasizing that something is. This might be a little bit difficult for you to grasp the concept of, but you know, the verb to be, you know, something to be something, something is something, some things are, like that is. Dattebayo is emphasizing that. So you can say, oh, this ramen is good. It is, kind of thing. I think that's the closest explanation. I mean, closest translation that I can think of. I mean, of course, you don't really say it in English. This ramen is good, it is. But you don't say that, but it's kind of like, that's what Dattebayo is. It's emphasizing. whatever he's saying. So that's basically it. Is there like a higher / upper class Japanese language? If so, what's the difference between the common Japanese people are using? Oh yeah, well, I don't know if it's higher upper class, but there is a specific way to talk. I mean, these days things are more modernized and people are forgetting and losing that culture sort of. But when you're talking about the emperor and their family, you would use, I mean, it used to be at least that you would mention them in a way that sounds super duper formal. Like, I think that's what I can think of right now. I don't know if it's gonna be a higher class, but there surely is a more like levels of formalness when you speak, and there are different levels of sounding like trash too. Not trash, but like sounding ratchet or whatever it is. So there are so many degrees. Yeah, keigo, to be polite. So for example, when you're talking to someone, like face to face, business wise, you would, talk politely. But if you are working at a hotel, places that involve some kind of service, and then the person that's serving their customers are going to sound more formal. I mean, the likelihood of sounding even more formal than if you were to talk to an elder, talk to an older person, that kind of stuff. Like if you're the one serving someone at any kind of service related places, then I think that goes pretty high up there in the politeness ranking, if you will. But when you're in a hotel, they also speak to you like in more polite language. Yeah, that's what I mean. Any videos about political words that they use in the news? For example, what would it be? Yeah, I'm trying to check like how you would mention the emperor and like their family. Um, so for example, if you want to say that she is beautiful, right? Like I'm talking about like one of the highest levels of sounding polite or like formal, should I say? I don't know, man. Normally, casually, you would say utsukushi or kire or whatever. They're both pretty much the same. Utsukushi, beautiful. You can just say that something is utsukushi at the end. If it's a little more polite, then you say it's utsukushi desu, right? I mean, most of you know already that this by adding this is gonna make it polite. If you want to go a little further, then you go utsukushi desu, but I'm gonna use another word. Kire means pretty, beautiful. Yeah. kirei de gozaimasu. Gozaimasu is going to be a little more polite, like pretty polite actually. And then if you go to like the emperor level, then you could say, I suppose, like she is a very beautiful, like she is beautiful, or he is beautiful. You can say, 美しいお方であらせられる. Like that's whoa, right? Like what? Where did all these letters come from, right? To be something, like to be, like when I was talking about like the normal politeness, you would just add this, right? But then if you take it to like the emperor level, then you would substitute the this with like the araserareru. That's like totally different, right? So that's the difference. Can you explain Dattebasa frequently mentioned by Boruto? Yeah, Dattebasa and Dattebayo is pretty much, yeah, they're pretty much the same thing. But if I were to differentiate, even with the similarities, Dattebasa and Dattebayo obviously ends in sa or yo, right? Dattebayo is more like, how do you say it? Ending your phrase not involving anyone. You're the one saying it, and that's it. But when you add the sa, it's a little more kind of like being rhetorical. Like, it sounds like you're talking about something, and then you kinda are looking for the other person, like the person that you're speaking to, like that person's approval. Not approval, but it's more like speaking to that person's, like it's a little more, you know what I mean kind of feel. It has that you know what I mean feel more than the Dattebayo, but this is just a little too how do you say, I'm being really technical, like really deep into the differences. I mean, most people would tell you guys that they're both pretty much the same, and they are. But I'm just talking about the teeny tiny difference. If I were to point out between Dattebasa and Dattebayo. Any tips on learning kanji? Yeah, I mean, if you haven't checked it out, please check out the last live stream archive that I uploaded. I mean, like the latest live stream archive that I have up on this channel. I think I spent a few minutes talking about how to efficiently on how to learn kanji, and basically reading mangas. I mean, that at least that's what I did, because it's got the furigana, which is like there's a kanji and there's hiragana next to it, so at least for starters that should be. Does humor differ a lot between Japan and the US? Definitely. Absolutely. What I feel about, let's say, American comedy is that when it's a comedy show, what you frequently see is one person on the stage talking about something, right? So that's stand-up comedy. But in Japan, you could have one person, two people, three people, like as many as you want, right? And they have different like they like to do a lot of skits or talk about something, with boke and tsukomi. And boke is like the person who says something clumsy or stupid, and then tsukomi is the person that would point those things out, and that's how people laugh. at their jokes. But you don't really see that in the States. You know, you don't have the bokeh, you don't have the tsukomi. I mean, unless it's like the Three Stooges or something, but that style you don't really see anymore. It's just, you know, stand-up comedians going up and just talk about stuff, blah blah blah, and it's funny, you know. If you like, I mean, it depends on the person what funny is, but there definitely are funny comedians. But I think the format is a little more fixed, or actually way more fixed in the States. Speaking of comedy, Rip Shimura Ken, yeah, definitely. For those of you who don't know Ken Shimura, or Shimura Ken in Japanese, yeah, he's one of the legendary comedians in Japanese history. Yeah, he was like, when was his maybe so since he's a legend, you know, he was really big like a long time ago, but you know, still appeared in a lot of TV shows and stuff. You know, he was pretty old, but he recently passed away from the coronavirus, unfortunately. But there's this series called Bakatono, and Baka is stupid, and Tono is like Tono-sama, you know. It's basically about like a Japanese lord back in the I think samurai days, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too knowledgeable about the, you know, the settings, but so he lives in a castle, you know, an old school Japanese castle, because it's, you know, back in the days, like that's the setting, and he is a very clumsy and whatchamacallit, like a horny lord that likes to loathe himself in like all these things, just like having girls around him, and like he's, you know, his character is really funny. He has his face painted all white because, you know, that's how some people had their faces back then. And so it's basically like if I were to translate this to a Western version, it's kind of like this clumsy king who sits in a castle and then has like a lot of girls around him, and he's like, and then like does stupid things, and it's really funny. That kind of stuff. That's how I got to know him. It's the kind of comedy that everyone can understand. I mean, at least in Japanese. By Japanese standards. And yeah. I feel like even the humor in your videos kind of differ between your English and Japanese channel. Oh yeah, definitely, because depending on the channel, I try to, how do you say, if I'm posting videos up on my Japanese channel, I try to go with the Japanese way, and then on this channel would be the, I mean, English speakers way of humor, you know, because there are many things that just don't translate, you know, between countries or cultures. So I try to go 100% according to the culture I'm trying to, a culture or language that I'm trying to, you know, go for. Gintama has a lot of straight man humor. It's very funny. Yeah, it's unfortunate though that Gintama has a lot of references, a lot of Japanese culture, like whether it be, you know, them talking about referring something from other mangas and stuff. So if you're not that familiar with the Japanese culture, whether it be like the manga world, anime world, or any like other thing, like you won't get 100% of what the humor is like what the joke is about on Gintama. So I think, you know, it's Gintama is huge in Japan, but that's why you have, let's say, more people following Naruto than Gintama overseas. You know, because when I play the opening theme that I wrote, that I sang, that I made for Gintama, like almost no one knows the song in any other country, like except for Japan. Like when I play my Naruto song, then people go like, yeah, but then the Gintama song, they're like, oh, what's this? So that's a pity, but oh well. But you know, those of you who understand the jokes, awesome. I've actually started watching the anime of the series referenced in Gintama just to fully understand them better. Yeah, and that's good, you know, because you start from one thing and then go to another thing, and that's going to expand your knowledge, and that's going to be awesome. I mean, that's a good way to expand your knowledge. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go now. So be sure to check out the videos that I've been posting up on this channel, because I mean, it's pretty miraculous that you guys are here today with the notifications that might have, you know, been sent to you guys, or maybe you guys randomly stumbled upon this channel. But yeah, I try to live stream as much as possible on this channel again. So although, you know, my energy level is at an all-time low because of this pandemic bullshit, but I try, you know, I try to connect with my followers. So in the meantime, please check out the other videos that I posted on here. And then I don't know how the buttons work. Maybe you click on notifications, or I don't know, subscribe first and then subscribe again so that you receive notifications again. I don't know, but that might help. So thank you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye bye.